So people going to church, and that's the only time they open up their Bible, not really a big impact. They also found that 2 days a week, not a big impact. And not even 3. It's better, but if you interact with the Bible, if you open that Bible and study and really think about it, 4 out of 7 days, so more days than not, it starts to transform your life and transform the relationships that you have. I think that's just some really, really good news. From New Life Ministries, this is Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn. I'm Stephen Arterburn. And Going Deeper is all about taking the tough issues, the hard issues of life, looking a little bit deeper inside so that we can gain some insight into our lives. Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for joining me for Going Deeper. And we're going deeper into the soul. This is my 5th segment in this 10-part series. Next week we'll be looking deeply into The Soul of a Hero, a book that comes out in June by Dr. Dave Stoop and myself, the last book we wrote together. Yesterday I started on this list talking about how do you know that maybe your soul is kind of waking up or stirring or trying to say something, and what do you do about it? Well, there are some things that happen when people are ready to become, quote unquote, more soulful. And I'll just start with this simple one. The things in this world, the material things that mean so much to so many other people or mean so much to you, they start to mean a lot less to you. You're really kind of seeing a shift in yourself, that maybe you're longing for more experiences, more depth in relationship, rather than just a bunch of stuff that you're acquiring at great expense to your future. So I would just say that one of the big, huge, giant boulders in between our soul development and God is material things. And there's so many, and they're so easy to buy on our cell phones or our laptops or whatever. So if you're sensing that you're really not that interested in the material anymore, that's the exception in this society, this consumer-driven society, and it's a great sign that something really important is happening within you. Now, another thing, and this kind of follows that, is that your sensing of values shift. That the things that you valued the most, you're not valuing anymore. And some of the things that you never even gave a second thought to, boy, they're of real value to you. Now, I want to tell you something. They've done a little bit of research, and they found out that if you read the Bible, interact with the Bible 1 day a week, it's not going to have a big impact on your life. Isn't that sad? So people going to church, and that's the only time they open up their Bible, not really a big impact. They also found that 2 days a week, not a big impact. And not even 3. It's better, but if you interact with the Bible, if you open that Bible and study and really think about it, 4 out of 7 days, so more days than not, it starts to transform your life and transform the relationships that you have. I think that's just some really, really good news. It wasn't my organization that did it. It was the Back to the Bible organization that discovered this amazing fact. So if your values are starting to shift and you're starting to value the truth that God has for us, you're starting to value heavenly things and other world things, the more time you spend in Scripture, the better that's going to be. And the more informed you're going to be on things other than this material world that you've started to kind of back off from. Now, the third thing is when the soul starts to wake up, you kind of, you might have just this sense, I want to be connected to something greater than myself. You know, that's a kind of a common thing, to want to see or be connected to something greater than yourself. It literally is the reason that wax museums exist, is because people like to be near famous people or people that seem to have all this power. And if you can't be near the real thing, Then you go see this counterfeit candle. I don't think they put wicks in them, but they're made of wax. And you go over there and you stand, and maybe you didn't meet Michael Jackson, but standing next to the fake candle, Michael Jackson, it's almost like being there. Then, years later, hey, when we were there, was Michael Jackson there, or was that just, you kind of blends? And so maybe you kind of start to think and tell yourself you were with the real thing. But my point is this: those wax museums exist because people want something. Everybody kind of wants to be near somebody that has some kind of power, fame, and look at what they do. In absence of the real thing, they connect with a perfect counterfeit. Does that ring true in your life? If you can't have a great, in-depth relationship, have you settled for the counterfeit? Maybe the sexual relationship, whatever it is. And now you're waking up and you're saying, I don't want a counterfeit anymore. I really want to be connected to something that's more powerful, that's greater than me. And of course, we know that that's your soul wanting to connect with God. And then I would just say this: when we're starting to pay attention to our soul, it could be because we realize we've got some superficial relationships and we really want them to be authentic. So I want to be more congruous, no duplicity. I want to be more authentic. And then finally, I'll just say this: if there's a sense that your whole life, like a set of tires, needs realignment, that there's wobbling going on, and you really need to step in and do some things you've never done before, it could be literally that this purpose that you have from God, this life, this calling, a calling of the soul, is starting to be made known in your life. Don't ignore it. Don't shut it off. Don't think you're not good enough for God to use. In fact, some people give to New Life because they say, if God could use me, a guy like me, He could use anybody. And it's true. He can. And He loves you. And He cares about you. And I believe this. I believe that God is huge. And He's so huge that He can pay attention to an individual just like you. Think about this. This universe we live in, we can't even figure out how big it is. And yet in that whole universe, there's this one little marble, ours, Earth, and that's got the people on it. We can't find life anywhere else. This is where God has sent His Son. God cares about this little marble in the midst of billions of orbs out there. So if that's true, couldn't it be true that He could care for you? And He's excited because He wants to connect with you at the soul level. I hope that realignment process will be good. I hope it will be successful, and that you're going to experience a life that you always kind of knew was there, but you've never, ever lived into it. God bless you. I hope and pray that something I've said would make a difference. Something that I've said would motivate you. Grab a Bible, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, get a Bible, maybe get a copy of this new book, The Soul of a Hero. But I really believe this is a great time in your life. Just don't stop. Don't shut it down. Respond to the stirring that's going on in your soul. Thank you for joining me for Going Deeper. I hope something I've said may have helped just a little bit. If you have a question you'd like me to answer or comment, just email me at stevesocial@newlife.com. I'll see you next time.
If you want to support Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn, be sure to subscribe so you never miss another episode. And if you know someone who would benefit from this episode, be sure to share it with them. See you on the next Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn from New Life Ministries.